Hey gamers, this is Jack the Bomb. Sorry I'm not in any video form, but yeah, there's a lot of upcoming projects and video is actually part of it. But getting down to business, online passes as a whole is something that needs to go away, something that restricts the legit consumer from their purchase. What I'm about to say here is breaking it down, trying to look into the logistics of it, and trying to correct the common misconceptions of a online pass. The first and pretty much the biggest misconception is the online passes are not by the developers or in favor of the developers. Online passes are only for one party and one party only, and that is publishers. That's right, for all of you fanboys out there who kept saying in the comments, who kept saying on every news article that, oh, give your support to the developers, the developers need money, GameStop is evil. You know who the evil company is? Activision, EA, Sony. Those are pretty much the big top three that put online passes on their products. Not for the developers, not in favor of the developers, not to help the developers, not to help the consumers. It's to basically give them an extra source of income. Now, the online pass, they keep claiming, was to help costs. Well, here's a fact. When you buy a game and use it online, you can't have one copy online twice at the same time. It doesn't work that way. So for any complaints that a corporation or publisher would have about used game sales, just remember this. For there to be a used game sale, there had to have been at some point a new game sale. You cannot have more used copies than new copies sold in total. It's impossible. So for these corporations for any consumer to have a used copy, the corporation or publisher made money off of that copy already. Now, here's a question. Since when does the publisher, or any video game company for that matter, deserve to make their money twice on a single copy of a game? What you are paying for is a license. You're not paying for the plastic. You're not paying for the actual game. You're paying for a license. Now, if I want to transfer that license, just like I want to transfer the title to my car, or the deed to my house, or proper ownership of any property I own, under the First Sale Doctrine, I'm legally allowed to sell my shit to whoever I fucking feel like. And that's one problem that the video game industry and software publishers as a whole don't quite understand. The moment you start restricting our rights with the products that we buy is the moment that we're going to declare war on you. Basically what I'm saying is this: boycott any game that has the online pass. If you have already purchased any game with an online pass and had not yet activated your pass, please do not activate your pass. All I am saying is that if I want to give my game to my brother, or I want to give it to a friend, or I want to sell it to somebody, the person purchasing it or receiving it should not be restricted in any way, shape, or form because they didn't just go to a brand new store and buy it brand fucking new. The video game industry needs to learn a lesson, the same way that Verizon learned a lesson. You want to fuck us consumers, we're going to fuck you. That's basically how it is. And the problem is the mentality of gamers. The mentality of gamers is that they're willing to get fucked, and I don't understand why. Keep putting it in your head that by supporting the online pass, you are therefore supporting developers. That mentality needs to change because, in fact, you are not supporting the developers. Take in consideration David Jaffe. David Jaffe desperately wanted Twisted Metal to be PSN Pass free, meaning that you wouldn't have this on his product. He said that he is completely against online passes. Now that is coming straight from a developer's mouth, that online passes do nothing good for him, do nothing good for the developer, and do nothing good for the consumer. There are plenty of legit reasons for a consumer to not want and rebel against any online pass. Now, quickly, people are about to say, well, GameStop is so evil. You know what? That's fucking between GameStop and the publishers. That's their battle to deal with, not for us to be involved. By putting online passes on games, they are merely using us as a pawn in their grand scheme, reminding people that publishers are the evil ones. Publishers fucked over book writers. Authors are pissed at book publishers for the constant generations and centuries of being fucked over. Now we live in a generation where you can self-publish all of your books. So more profits go to the author, the person who did all the work, the person who wrote the book that became a bestseller. The same thing goes to a developer. Developers are constantly switching towards their indie publishing ways. Why go to any Activision, EA, or Ubisoft when you can go directly to Nintendo, directly to, well, unfortunately Sony, and directly to Microsoft to publish your games? These are reasons for these existing are because publishers are evil. Remember, EA Games started the online pass revolution, and EA Games created an ultimate evil that needs to die. I truly believe for the best interest of the video game industry and for the best interest of gamers everywhere, we need to stand up against this. This is a serious issue, and this is only going to get worse. What's next? Half your game is going to be locked away unless you pay EA or whoever 10 extra fucking dollars? That's bullshit, guys. That really is. Again, if you were to sell your car to somebody else, do you think Ford's going to knock on their door and say, well, if you actually want to turn on the fucking car, you're going to have to pay us $100 or a certain percentage of it? No. People would tell them to go fuck themselves, and they're out of their fucking minds. Why can't we apply that mentality towards this? Boycott online pass. Spread this message around. Gamers everywhere deserve better than this. And these publishers need to be put in their place, and they need to understand that none of this is for us, none of this is for the developers. It's all for themselves. So take care, look out for future content.